Okay, so we are going to look for the core philosophy number two, curiosity with intent. So Jonathan Ive, who worked closely with Jobs for decades, for long times, so he described Jobs' approach to learning as curiosity with intent. Okay, let's change the color. So what does that mean? So let me break it down. The three-part frameworks for this meaning. So first part is explore. So Jobs had curiosity about many fields. So, for example, technology, obviously, and typography and fonts, and music and entertainment, architecture and design. And also he also has interest in Zen, Buddhism, and spirituality, and business and marketing itself. So he asked tireless questions. He wanted to understand how things worked, why they were designed that way. So what assumptions people were making. So he kept an open mind, willing to learn from anyone, anywhere. And the second part is focus. The Jobs did not just collect random knowledge, he looked for real potential. So he didn't just collect random knowledge. This is important point for Jobs' core philosophy. So what ideas have genuine power? So what could actually be built? What would actually matter to people? So he did deep dives. When something interested him, he obsessed over it until he truly understood it. So, and he pursued authentic understanding, not surface level knowledge, but deep comprehension. And he had no tolerance for vague or deceptive thinking. So if you could not explain it clearly, you didn't understand it. So he always say that if you couldn't explain clearly, which means that don't understand it. So in a real example, it's for your student life. If you learn something from the subject or lecture or anything, if someone asks about it and if can't answer or describe it, which means that you don't understand it. So try to explain this concept, this series, and this subject to others. If someone understand well, which means that you understand well for it. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so here is the part three. Execute. This is the final. So Jobs turned curiosity into productive ideas. So he asked, how can we actually build this? And how can we make it beautiful? And how will it impact people's life? So this is the with intent part. So his curiosity was not idle. So it was purposeful, directed toward creating something rare. Okay, so here is Jobs' family eulogy. So at Steve Jobs' memorial, his family shared this. So we are gonna read it together. So he taught us to embrace the beauty of the world, to look at new ideas around us with curiosity. So to pay attention to what beyond, what meets the eye, and to always be humble with a beginner's mind. That phrase, beginner's mind, I already mentioned several times for curiosity for Jobs' core philosophy, and now we are focused on the beginner's mind. So beginner's mind comes from Zen's Buddhism. So we do not have enough time to explain what Zen Buddhism is. So someone has interest to know what Zen Buddhism is, just type it. Maybe ChatGPT or Google can explain well. So just find it. So beginner's mind means approaching everything with fresh eyes. So without preconceptions, always willing to learn. So even though Jobs was a technology genius, he maintained a beginner's mind. So he humbled to understand, know the new things, new knowledge, new technology, like that. So he never assumed he knew everything. He kept asking why and what if. So here is the lesson. So curiosity alone is not enough. So you need direction, be curious, but be curious with purpose. So you must keep in mind, oh, I'm gonna highlight it. So this is the hard thing. Be curious with purpose. Okay? So learn things that can combine into something valuable. And core philosophy number 3, so original perspective. So Jobs' third philosophy was about thinking differently. So it is a very important phrase, and not of course important and famous phrase. So it is also Apple's famous advertising campaign was "Think Different." So let me tell you a story that illustrates this. So the next story in 1985. So Steve Jobs was first out of Apple, the company he co-founded. The board and CEO sided against him in a power struggle and he was pushed out. So most people would have been devastated. Jobs was devastated, but he did not give up. So he founded a new company called Next, NEXT, so focusing on high-end computers for education and business. So Next computers were technologically advanced but commercially unsuccessful. Commercially, so he did not earn money for these products. So too expensive and too niche. That's the problem. So however, Next developed the revolutionary operating system, the OS that was ahead of its time. So by 1997, Apple was in crisis. They were losing money, losing market share, losing relevance. They were on a verge of bankruptcy. Uh,
So in this year, Apple lose a lot of things. So Apple agreed they bought next for 929 million. It's quite a lot. So brought Jobs back as advisor, then interim CEO, then CEO. So now here is where Jobs' original thinking came in. So Michael Mack, CEO of a company working with Apple at the time, so recount that Jobs approached him with revolutionary ideas. So what if we made it possible for computers to learn both Microsoft Windows and Mac OS at the same time? Users could switch between operating systems seamlessly. So this was radical. So Apple and Microsoft were fierce competitors. So the idea of making Apple computers compatible with Windows seemed like betrayal to Mac pursuit. But Jobs saw the strategic opportunity. It would remove the biggest barrier to people switching to Mac. So people who needed a specific Windows program for work could still use them while gradually transitioning to Mac. So the deal did not happen. So Microsoft was not interested, but it showed Jobs thinking. Ignore conventional wisdom, see the opportunity others miss, propose solutions that sound crazy but might work. So here is Michael Mack's reflection. Mike Mag later said, someone trying to do great things must take an original approach. You cannot accomplish amazing things while following set rules. Jobs was excellent in that respect. So Jobs found insight in chaos and rejected conventional wisdom and saw possibility other missed and took unconventional paths. So these four things are Jobs difference. Okay. So here's the lesson. The best opportunity often require unconventional thing. So I'm gonna write it. So if you are doing what everyone else is doing, you will get the result everyone else is getting. So to get extraordinary result, you need extraordinary thinking. So unconventional thinking plus extraordinary thinking. So yes, this is not uh, difficult to understand. Everyone knows that it's but hard to do this. Yeah, I agree that. So I'm not a creative person also, so I'm trying to do same as what Jobs did. But I also hard to do this. But I'm always trying to think differently, and also I'm always try to do extraordinary thing something. Okay, and here is the core philosophy number four. Obsess over customer needs. The Jobs' first philosophy was about understanding customers better than they understand themselves. So I'm gonna write it. So Jobs, this first core philosophy means that Jobs understanding. I apologize for my terrible handwriting, but I hope you guys to understand that better than they understand themselves. So this sounds arrogant, but let me explain what he meant.
So traditional versus Jobs approach. So step one, the traditional approach, market research. So they ask, what do they say they want? And second step, technology capability. What can our engineer build? What can you do? And third, the product. So build what customers said they wanted with available technology. Yes, this is so logical, right? It's about ask customers what they want, then give it to them. It's logical process. But just approach step one, deep customer understanding. So he tried to understand the customer first. So he always asks what makes them happy, what frustrates them, so what are they trying to accomplish. And the second step is anticipate, understand the needs. Maybe many students already studied it from the marketing class. So understanding the needs and wants is really important. So Jobs always asks what would delight them, even though they do not know to ask for it. And third, the product that delights. So create something that solves the problems they did not know they had. Okay, so here is Jobs on market research. Jobs famously said, and we are gonna read it together. So never rely on market research. Our job is to figure out what they are going to want before they do. So people do not know what they really want until we show them the actual product. So was he saying customers are stupid? No, he never say customers stupid. He never say that. So he was saying that people can describe their current problems, but they cannot imagine solutions that don't exist yet. So this phrase is a real, so interesting and important. So here is the example. So let me show you three examples. So the iPhone. So iPhone actually launched in 2007. So before the iPhone, if you ask the people, do you want a smartphone with no physical keyboard, just a touch screen? Most would have said no. So BlackBerry phones with physical keyboards dominated at the time. So good example is BlackBerry case. So many students don't know what BlackBerry is. This is quite historical item. So and also Nokia case as well. So if someone interested to know BlackBerry case and Nokia case, just find it. And also, I, I'm not sure, it's about the marketing class might cover it, but not always. But just find if the prof of marketing don't don't explain it, just find those two examples, BlackBerry and Nokia. It's a good example to understand the situation. So anyway, but just so the physical keyboard limit screen size, they are fixed. You cannot change the keyboard for different apps. So a touch screen is more versatile, it's more visual, more powerful. So the iPhone had no physical keyboard. Many people initially said I could never type on the screen, touch screen. So today, physical keyboard phones are extinct. We all type on touch screens and can't imagine going back, right? And also iPad case, the iPad. So before the iPad, the tablet computer market had been tried multiple times and failed. So Microsoft had tablet pieces, they flopped. So industry consensus, people do not want tablets. They have laptops and smartphones. Tablets are in a awkward middle, so not powerful enough to replace laptops. So, too big to be convenient like phones. But Jobs, the the existing tablet failed because they were just small laptops, clunky, expensive,
running desktop software that was not designed for touch. So the iPad would be different. So a large screen device designed from the ground up for touch, for apps, for content consumption, for new use cases. So launched in 2010, the iPad created a massive new market. So now tablets are everywhere, in schools, hospital, business, home. Yes, iPad is. I also have iPad, iPhone, iPad, like that, iSeries, iTems, iSeries products. But personally, I tend to use a laptop. Well, anyway, okay. So the iPad case, 2001. But iPad is also a historical item. But at the time, is incredible. So MP3 players existed before the iPod. Everyone know the MP3 make players? Maybe many students don't know that because this is also quite old item. So several companies made MP3 players. So if you ask the people what do you want in an MP3 player, they just say the bigger storage, the longer battery, cheaper price. But just ask a different question. What's the entire experience of enjoying music? So the answer was not just the device. It was acquiring music legally, organizing it, syncing it, creating playlists, discovering new music. So Apple created the iPod, so beautiful hardware, of course. Oh, what happened? Hardware. And also iTunes software, right? For organized music. And also iTunes Store. So legal music downloads for 1990 cents per song, only 1990 cents, quite cheap, right? So this integrated ecosystem solved the complete problems. So that's why iPad dominated while other MP3 players faded away. So here is the insight. Jobs' insight was understanding customer needs, not asking what they want. So you must take away this one. Jobs' insight was understanding customer needs, not asking what they want. This is the key takeaway. Once again, I apologize my bad and worse in writing. I hope you guys to understand it. So you need to observe how they struggle with current solutions. Imagine what they'd love if it exists, and create that before they ask for it. Show them, and they will say, "Yes, that's what I needed." So here's the lesson. Don't just listen to customers, understand them deeply. Understand them deeply, please. And solve problems they have but have not articulated. That's where breakthrough products come from. Okay, so this is the last core philosophy, uncompromising standards. Jobs' fifth and final philosophy was about quality standards. So Forbes magazine analyzed Jobs' product philosophy and wrote, so Jobs thought that launching an imperfect product might be regrettable, but launching mediocre product is suicidal. So he worked to make truly great products, not just minimally nice products. So let me show you what this means practically. Okay, so here is the Jobs quality filter. So most companies think like this. What's the minimum viable product we can ship? What good sorry sorry.
What's good enough to satisfy customers and beat competitors? This is rational, right? Don't over engineer. Ship quickly, iterate based on feedback. Jobs thought differently. Here's a quality filter looked like this. So insanely great, yes. Extraordinary, maybe. So I'm gonna do it. Here is no three negative things. So excellent, no. Good enough, no. Minimum variable, no. Extraordinary, maybe. Insanely great, yes. So only insanely great was acceptable for his filter. Okay. Okay, so what this meant in practice? So this meant obsessing over details most customers would not notice. So the inside of Apple computers that customers never see, beautifully designed. The packaging carefully engineered to create a perfect unboxing experience. The font spacing on buttons, adjusting pixels by pixel until perfect. Delaying products if they were not ready. Jobs delayed the iPhone multiple times because features were not working perfectly. So he killed products that were good but not great, even after investing millions, saying no to most ideas. Apple released very few products compared to competitors. Jobs famously said, innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. Focus on few things and make them insanely great. Okay. And also, so what's the time? So we are going to take a break now. Then I'm gonna keep explain more.